Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of Making a Fakemon region. To give you the catch up, these past few time period, I've been doing a few videos where I've been showing off a few designs and even drawing some new ones for this hypothetical Fakemon region, what I've been calling Cidalmon. It's weird, but yeah. Welcome to the channel. And last episode we made the grass starter evolutions, so it's only fitting that I make the fire starter evolutions. It's a bit weird why I'm doing the evolution for the starters so late, but what are you gonna do? So as I mentioned, last episode was me explaining the story of the grass starter Cuptis and how it evolves and how it grows as a troubled child to a struggling teenager to a very happy, accomplished adult. One of the main concepts I wanted to portray in these starters is by telling a story because, you know, most starters typically have this concept of they grow through the player. They're meant to be this staple of any team, and they're meant to be the proof of how far the trainers come. And I like the idea that the starters tell a story of their own just as much as the trainers themselves, you know? That's just a fun little thing what I thought was fun. And like the previous episode, I already drew Pipeup for these two evolutions, so there's no speed drawing, so I'll quickly explain Pipeup and get him out of the way. Pipeup, the small baby fire hedgehog thing. Compared to the other two starters, Cuptis and Confuzzle, he's usually the most popular. Most people find him cuter than the other two, therefore immediately better. So he's normally the first one to get picked. What many people don't know about Pipeup though, is that they're very notoriously hard to train. And yeah, it doesn't obey, it notoriously fights its own owner half the time. It's known to pipe up, as you would say, as its name implies, the second it feels any resemblance of threatened, even if there's no good reason to. So wouldn't you guess it, this Pokemon, Fakemon thing usually gets abandoned by early trainers who bit off more than they could chew by choosing Pipeup. It's funny when I mention this because not only in regular Pokemon is the fire starter usually abandoned, I feel like most other Fakemon fire starter designs are also kind of notoriously hard to train. Funny that. Maybe there's just an unspoken rule that fire types must be abandoned. That's dark. Let's get darker. Now, in the Pokemon world, you could argue that they find a happy ending, but this is not the regular Pokemon world, and I have no restrictions, so let's go a little bit weird. Now, although Pipeups do tend to pipe up when feel threatened, they're not actually that strong, and the fire on their backs is more so for show. Because of this, when they get abandoned, they're usually left very easily defenseless, and other trainers can easily, well, not capture them, but use them for some other sport. That's right, hedgehog bowling is now canon. Similar to cockfights in the real world, Pipeups what are abandoned are usually captured and trained to be thrown at not literal bowling pins, like probably like wooden made ones or something. What basically they're throwing the Pipeups at things, trying to break them or tumble them down as sport. It's very illegal in this world, and it's very bad for the Pipeups' health. But you know, it's bad. Welcome to the real world. What isn't real? So, despite being the most popular pick, Pipeups have actually evolved to kind of be scared to be picked, if anything, due to the fact that they're kind of aware of the fact that they're very likely going to be abandoned soon. And you might argue, well, why can't they change by not being mean and aggressive? Well, again, it's in their nature to be, so Pipeups are kind of in a sad, constant back and forth state, and they're not enjoying that. So what happens when a troubled child starts to grow up? Well, it becomes a troubled, emo, goth, angsty teenager. Oh yeah, we're going emo, I think. Am I like even allowed to say that word? I don't know. They're hedgehogs, it's fine. Now, as much as I wanted to name this thing Edgehog, I had to stop myself, although I'm not against changing it, no. This thing is going to be called Disdain, which is the mix between dis, which can mean a bunch of like sad words like discouraged, and disdain, which is to feel unworthy, which he does, but we'll get into that in a second. And the scientific name for hedgehogs, which is that monstrosity, what I'm not even going to begin to pronounce. Spoiler alert, it's not Erinacani, which is what I thought it was the first time, which I thought mixed in. Apparently it's like Erinacani, something like that. Hedgehog is so much easier, but still, it's a mix of all those. And I guess you could say Disdain sounds a bit like flame, but whatever. Now, since Disdain is an emo teenager thing. He's trying to go against the norm. He's a fire-type starter, but he doesn't like being a fire-type starter. So he's not exactly a traditional-looking fire-type starter because he hates being one, because the fact that he is one is what got him into this mess in the first place. He's been mistreated all his life, and now he's unhappy about it, and now he's all, ugh, sad. So he's a little bit upset, bless him. And he's still got anger problems to the max. You go near this thing, he's going to lash out. Whether he's tame or not, you know, he's got problems, you know. He's got a lot of inner demons, I guess you could say. I mean, knowing this world, that's probably a literal thing, but still, that's another episode. Now, although all of this bad stuff is happening to him, there's at least one good thing. He's learning to channel his creativity. Now, you're not going to see it in the speed drawing, because the speed drawing for these two evolutions were gosh darn terrible. Well, I'll get back to that later. However, in the final design, he changes his fire. Both his head fire flame and his back fire flames. Now, even though this is pixel art and it's a still image, I like to think that depending on what last move he uses, his head flame will like change slightly to that colour or something. In his attempt to change his red fiery flame to something else, he's channeled this creativity in him what lets him change his own flames now. He's expressing himself through his flames, but although his appearance makes him look like he doesn't care, you know, he's all puffed up, whatever, he's like, whatever. But at the same time, I like to think that on the inside he definitely does, and you know, he might lash out at his trainer, but at the same time I feel like a good trainer would stick with him, and deep down Discane would really appreciate that. But again, sadly, most trainers can't be asked, unfortunately, to deal with most Discanes. And again, Discanes are usually left abandoned, which makes their situation worse. But at least they express themselves even more. That segue sounded like as if it was a good thing for being abandoned. It's not. I'm trying to say, Discanes have this ability to express themselves in such a visually stunning way that the more emotion they channel into it, well, the better it looks, for lack of a better term. Which, I don't want to say it makes people abuse them so it makes better shows like a tortured circus animal, because that's awful, but I feel like I'm going to get another comment saying to make that canon, so... but yeah, I like to imagine the flames on their back and their hair flames kind of... They can visualise, they can make images out of them and visualise, I guess you could say short stories, kind of like how you do shadow puppets, I guess you could say. I like to think that's a cool thing that they do, and they express themselves, which is good that they're expressing themselves, sad that, well, they feel like they have to feel needed in the first place, but that's just how some people do. I'm going to mention here now that I struggled drawing this and its third evolution so much, because... Well, I'm sure you've noticed, but my art style is very... How do I put this? Unless it's a circle with things added onto it, I'm going to be struggling a lot. And this is a... I mean, looking at it, it's not that complicated a design, but compared to, again, circles with things added onto it, it really is, for me at least. So, I hope it doesn't look absolutely terrible. And if you have any other unique ideas... Feel free to let me know, because I'm down to changing both of these, because although I really like them, I definitely feel like my inability to make good things is kind of getting in the way of that. And the colours, because, you know, the middle evolution's meant to be like, ugh, I don't want to be a fire type anymore, so he changes his flames. But at the same time, I don't know if it looks good or not, for you know. But I like how it is now, but I definitely struggle a lot whilst drawing it. But again, if you have any ideas, let me know. I even tried redrawing it with a kind of a back pose to show that he's hiding his face, but yeah, we'll stick with this one for now. Anywho, so yeah, this is Discane, the inner tortured hedgehog. Well, let's say he wants to keep expressing himself. I mean, hey, in his teenage years, he practiced so much, he got pretty talented at it. Well, let's get to evolving. I like to think that whilst Discane was practicing, he does have genuine talents, and, you know, although his sadness had to be the one to bring it out, I like to believe that he does genuinely have some good talent, what impresses people, and he gets used to the idea of people liking his talent, pleasing people, and like pleasing crowds, I guess you could say, to the point where he realises he spent his baby years being scared of disappointing people, being his teenage years not caring about disappointing people, but still caring a whole lot, to the point where he realises he does have enough talent to stand on his own, and he doesn't need to impress people anymore. Well, That's not to say he doesn't though. This final evolution, Dredgehog, is a fire electric type hedgehog rockstar thing. What? Now this guy took a lot of attempts to draw, so instead of showing you all 3 attempts of me drawing him, I'm just going to pop him to 2 failed attempts in the top corner, because this video is getting a little longer than what I want it to, so we'll save some time and I'll let you see what terrible attempts I did. I really struggled on these, can't you tell? But yeah, I can imagine, you know, Discane being a tortured inner soul. He booked down all of his ideas for, you know, songs or whatever, to the point that when Dredgehog finally unleashes its musical talent, well, that's exactly what he does. He tells his stories, he tells his songs. You know, he reaches out to other Pipeups and Discanes around the world saying, it's gonna be okay, fight the fight, it's gonna be a great future, this is what awaits you, sort of thing, right? He's happy being who he is now. He doesn't regret the sadness of what happened in his past, because they were the building blocks to what made him so successful. It's what made him him, you know? He's not regretting about what happened, and he's not specifically regretting anything bad or good he did. He doesn't care about the past anymore. He's looking to a hopeful future, and it is, because he's a fire electric giant hedgehog thing. He's happy being an awesome little thing. Again, I feel like being on a still sprite really harmed this design a lot, because I like to think on his chest he's got like a weird like flame or something, what his hand can like stretch out into make like strings connected to his fingers, what look like guitar strings, but when he plucks they make fireball notes sort of thing, or shoot out to his opponents. I thought that was a cool little idea. And the fact that he had like a redder hand than the other one, what's meant to be my real life friends who play guitar and stuff, they have, you know, like a special, like, they look after their hand and thumb because it's the money maker, so to speak. It's what drums the guitar. So I like to think that he has this treasured bright red hand as well, what he also treasures, and that's the plucking hand what does all the special attacks or whatnot. Is that weird? Probably. But yeah, I like to think this one, Dredgehog, although his name implies, you know, dread and everything, that's just, it's kind of a stage name sort of thing, you know. I like to think he's, again, more of a gentle giant creature where he adores his fans and he loves every single one of them, and he very rarely lashes out unless, you know, he's in battle, which Fakemon all the time. But if anything, I like to think that if he ever sees conflict, he tries his best to disband it, if anything. You know, he hates fighting because, obviously, in his youth, that's all he was used to, other than, not in-game fighting, I mean abuse of fighting, which is bad, but still, you know what I mean, I hope. But yeah, he's grown up to the point where he realises his young self piping up was bad, and that he should just, you know, he's got to help the world, even in a little way, you know, calm people down, you know, just chill. Enjoy the music, what he's going to make, you know? So yeah, that all in all, that was the Pipeup line. We've got Pipeup, the sad, scared little abused hedgehog, Discane, the edgy, whatever, hedgehog, and then Dredgehog, the proud, happy, grown-up rock star who embraces his past and looks forward to the future. And I guess that's it. Do you like him? Wait, do you reckon you'll choose Pipeup, or do you reckon you'll still choose Cuptis, or are you looking forward to Confuzzle? Oh right, yeah, Confuzzle's gonna be next. Its evolutions. I can't wait for that. So yeah, tell me what you think about Pipeup, Discane and Dredgehog. Do you have a favourite, a least favourite? What would you do to change them? I'm genuinely curious about this because, again, I feel like I've got a few things what I'd change, but obviously I can't because I'm not that good, but still. And I hope I didn't ramble awkwardly too much, because cards out of the table, I'm really tired yet really excited at the same time. I don't know why, and I've been storing a lot, and that hasn't gotten in the way, and I hope that hasn't made anything bad or whatever. I hope my words have been at least somewhat cohesive, is what I'm trying to say. Random blah 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 out the way. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in a bit. Toodaloo, and bye!